Athanasios Evgenikos on an old Nina recorded here in the United States in New York and being presented on Mondays with Meleti and your host, Meleti Pouliopoulos. You are tuned to Grecian Echoes here at WNTN, 1550 AM in Cambridge, Needham in Boston. We're streaming at wntn.com on this Monday, September 15th, 2025. We have joining us right now via Zoom. How about that, right? The technology, look where we are. We have Nancy Agris Savage, who is here to tell us about the Peter Agris Memorial Journalism Scholarships. They're in, I believe, the 39th year, but we're going to ask Nancy all about it. Kalimera, Nancy.
Kalimera, Meleti, Kalimera, listeners. Good morning.
Good morning. So did I get that right? Is it 39 years?
No, I'm sorry. I guess you must have found a typo from several years ago that we missed, but we are still proudly in our 33rd year.
Opa. Okay, well, 33 years
Yes.
is still, that's a lot of years.
That's a lot of years. You know, since before I had my two wonderful daughters, Lydia and Jocelyn. So
That's
yes,
true.
it's older than both of them. So yes.
And it was started really at the very beginning of the internet, and now the internet has just changed the way that the whole communications landscape and all the technology.
The whole communications landscape and the field of journalism and communications. Totally, absolutely, you're right.
When I went to school, my major was electronic media. That was real progressive.
Wow, and that was cutting edge, I'm sure.
That was cutting edge, yeah.
At wonderful Emerson.
Yes, Emerson College.
Yeah, which has been certainly the recipient of many of our scholarships over the years. And we have to thank for so many local journalists who have come through Emerson as well, mainstream media. So it's a phenomenal school that doesn't get, I think, the due it deserves.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And so tell us, why did the scholarship come about after your father's passing?
Well, so, you know, my dad's been gone a long time, 35 years now, sadly. He passed in 1989. As I think you mentioned earlier, he was at 24, the founder of the Hellenic Chronicle, quite an early age to be starting something so ambitious, but he strongly believed in faith, education, heritage, and his love of journalism as a way to not only inform, but to connect. And his main goal, I think, there were other newspapers at the time that were reporting on news from Greece in Greek. He was looking to connect, as I said, to early networking, if you will, the assimilating first generation Greek Americans, so that people in Boston who were of Greek descent would know what Greek Americans in Ohio and Texas and elsewhere were doing to learn and connect and, you know, keep this community together so that we could be a strong presence in the United States. And so when he passed, he had, of course, also been the founder, along with a number of other wonderful Greek Americans of blessed memory, of the Alpha Omega Council, now in its 49th year. And, you know, the family really wanted to honor his memory, number one, but also you know, people say all the time, you're honoring his memory and his legacy. I am, and that's 98% of it, but my background has also been in journalism and communications, and it's something I believe very strongly in. And so, I'm so thankful to the Alpha Omega Council for allowing us this vehicle to continue this program. And they've been doing it for 33 years now. They're fantastic partners with me on the program. And so all good, win-win all the way around.
Now you have quite a list of alumni now of the scholarships, people who are out there. You keep in touch with them, a lot of them. Have any of them returned, by the way, for the ceremony that you do? And
not only returned, have hosted, have emceed the gala. Yeah, we have, locally, Peter Agris on Channel 5. Ariel Metropolis at WMUR in Manchester, Maria Wilson also at WMUR, Nick Nikes, who is a Worcester boy, just became the New York Times bureau chief in Mexico City, covering most of the Western Hemisphere. Alexandra Poulos at 60 Minutes, Marina Landis at CNN. I mean, I could just stop me. I can just keep going and going and going and going. I mean, just phenomenal. So proud. My heart is full. It's a great endeavor. It really is. And I don't think any of us, when this first started, thought that it was going to continue this long, produce this much. And so, again, my heart is full.
It's really...
And thank you, P.S., I should throw in here. Thank you to Grecian Echoes. Thank you to Orestes and Teddy and everybody, and you certainly more recently, who, let me come on here and blather on about this exciting program and, gather support and give these kids some exposure. They're just amazing what they're doing.
And I read the bios. Thank you for sending those over to me. We posted them online as well. If you're on Facebook right now and you're listening to this interview, do look for that announcement and look in the comments section, because although I'll be reading as part of the introduction to each of the people that will be joining us this morning, I think it's nice for you to read it online too if you have the chance. And Nancy, I think a few years back, it seemed that the award had changed from what you were originally doing, which was broadcast media. It was journalism scholarship. And you said, well, really now it's journalism and communications, as communications can take place in different areas, different fields. It's sort of like having a wild card, right? And I always said that those skills are transferable to anything that we do. Can you talk about why that changed? Why did you open it up that way?
Well, I guess the easiest answer is to say for any of us in this life, as the world changes around us, we have to keep evolving. Yes. I think, my dad would be, his mind would be blown by the extent to which the field of journalism has changed. I mean, it really wasn't broadcast journalism when we first started. It was more specifically print, especially long form, a good old fashioned boots on the ground, investigative reporting, that was what we were centered on. And mind you, this started 33 years ago with BC, BU, Northeastern, Emerson, UMass, maybe Suffolk, all local schools. The first year we had 10 applicants for one $5,000 scholarship. And that was big money 33 years ago.
Oh,
Unfortunately, $5,000 isn't going to change anyone's life with a college debt right now. But anyway, and it has, we had 10 applicants. Like I said, the pool now is nationwide, grad, undergrad. We've had a couple of PhDs along the way. And it's just astounding. And in all aspects of journalism and communications, including like documentary film, which is journalism, and photojournalism. So, and online, digital, broadcast. We've had several of our recipients have gone on to write nonfiction, and several books in our little library here. So it's we've evolved with the times, I guess, or like to think we have anyway.
Really have. Well, it's so nice that now the process. So let's just start before we bring on our first guest. Let's talk about the process, because the process is almost going to start as soon as the award ceremony is over.
Okay, you are not kidding.
So
you are not kidding.
What's that timeline look like, and how do you manage?
I kind of take the summers off. How's that? Yes, because we're, so it starts in January, really even sometimes December, but January, I'm in contact directly with all of the journalism and communications departments, all the schools across the country. And they get it out to all their communications kids. And the deadline is March 31st. It's a pretty straightforward application, an essay required, also pretty straightforward. What of your Greek heritage would you bring to a career in journalism and communications? Some people say it's a softball. I like to see where young people go with this. You're a budding, aspiring writer. Where are you going with that topic? I just gave you, a lot of runway. Where are you going with it? So, and it's always really interesting to see. We have a fantastic, and have always had for 33 years, a fantastic committee on the Alpha Omega Council. We've had, been blessed by founders, Arthur Kumanzelis and Peter Pantazelis, both of whom have passed. They were the founding chairs. Nick Cordes, a name that many of you well know in this area, took over and chaired it for a decade, excuse me, and helped us to grow the program. And now we have more recently, under the stalwart leadership of Peter Lemonius, also a name that everyone knows from his dad, a long time Alpha Omegan. Peter, the same, devotes so much time to the marathon wreath ceremony and so many other things, but I'm so grateful for the time he has given to this committee and to me personally. And we have, 7 other terrific members, or 6 other, I guess it's Peter and myself and 6 others from Alpha Omega, that, we all read the applications, we vet the applications, we interview the finalists, and we make our selections in usually like late April, and then let the young people know, and then we're in contact with them throughout the summer and get ready to welcome them to Boston for our gala, because this isn't just what's the address you want us to mail the check to? This is, come to Boston, be with us, be part of this amazing organization and all that we do. And yeah, and I'm going to do, when you give me a moment, I'm sorry, long-winded answers.
That's okay.
But a lot of information. But yeah, I'm going to do some shameless plugging of the incredible honors gala we have coming up on November 1st. So yeah, so they'll all be coming to Boston. And this is only, I'm excited about the 3 that were able to make it this morning. We have another 3 because we give 6 scholarships annually, $5,000 each. So $30,000 awarded annually through Alpha Omega and the Agris Journalism Scholarships. And yeah, so that will happen on November 1st. They'll all be, well, 2 of them are local, so the rest will be coming into Boston from all over the country.
That's so great. And so you have a ceremony, there's the honors gala that Alpha Omega holds, and then you have a separate, you still have your ceremony first, right?
The ceremony is first, correct, and all the trustees of Alpha Omega, all of the VIPs from the dinner attend. His Eminence is usually with us. God bless him. Governor Dukakis is just, you know, has given us so much time and so much support. He always does his best to be with us. And so, yeah, so it's great. It's great. And the parents usually travel. So we have parents traveling from California and from, you know, all over the country to be with us. And so, yeah, Alpha Omega may be Boston based, but it has a really, really large footprint in the United States.
Yes, that's so good. alphaomegacouncil.org. And that's the place where you can find out more about the Alpha Omega and this mission and beyond the scholarship, what it's doing in the community.
Yeah, because we are only for a tiny, tiny portion of it, this scholarship. What they have done philanthropically, over $2 million, and that is not counting $830,000 in scholarship grants.
Oh, really?
That's $2 million to philanthropic causes.
Yeah.
Both Hellenic, Orthodox, and beyond our community as well. So yeah, big footprint, a lot to be proud of.
Excellent. Well, I think we should welcome our first guest recipient of the 2025 Peter Agris Memorial Journalism Scholarship. Is it Ava or Ava?
Ava.
Ava. Ava Tsapatsaris, she's a graduate of New York University, where she completed a bachelor's degree in 3 years with a concentration in the public understanding of science, medicine, and health, and is currently a graduate student at Harvard University in the Masters in Media, Medicine, and Health program. Ava is an Emmy Award-winning reporter for WWOR TV's Teen Kid News, and has also authored multiple peer-reviewed journal articles in the fields of medicine. She hopes to pursue a career that blends her passions for medicine and broadcast journalism. Ava is the daughter of Peter and Giovanna Tsapatsaris of Eastchester, New York. Kalimera, Ava. Nice to see you.
Kalimera, nice to see you as well. I'm so happy to be here.
It's nice. And you are literally here in the Boston area, if I understand. Is that right?
Yes, I'm currently in Cambridge.
In Cambridge. Excellent. Did you start your academic life here, your college life in Boston, or did you transfer from another school?
So I did my undergrad at New York University. So I'm a New York native, grew up in New York. And then after I completed my bachelor's degree, I came right to Harvard here in Cambridge, and I started studying media, medicine, and health, which is a great interdisciplinary program covering both science, journalism, and storytelling.
Excellent. Oh, and storytelling too. So tell us about this field, this field of what you like to do. It said in your bio in the introduction that you wanted to blend your passions for medicine and broadcast journalism. How do you see that happening?
I first started with that goal during COVID because it was such an important time to understand science and health and thinking about how we can communicate important information to the public, whether it's through public health campaigns or medical journalism. I think it's really important to focus in on those areas to ensure the public understands science and health news.
And what do you think are the most effective vehicles for those communications? Is it AM radio?
I would say definitely
Or
AM
shameless plug.
It's curious, right? Because we're in a different world and people, different groups get their information in different ways. Some out on the schoolyard, some around the bar. So I'm sorry. Go
Definitely.
ahead. What do you think that we need to approach it as a multi-level sort of thing?
Exactly. A multi-level approach to this, I feel, is going to be the most effective because if you focus just on, say, broadcast journalism on TV, while that's great because so many people get their morning news and their morning information, even evening news, you also have to consider our commuters who are listening to the radio while they're driving. So there's so many different ways to get information out about health news.
You think the COVID that epidemic was really an interesting study of how the media responded and what happened, because there's been such a division in our country, and a discussion and debate over what's true and what's not, and what's real and what's not. And we're getting overlays with AI generated images and manipulations of voices and videos. Some people are passing them around, ha ha ha, and then some are taking it as gospel. And I have a nurse in my family that told me that the COVID pandemic was made up. And so politics really can get right into our professional lives. How do you see yourself cutting through all that, or what should we be doing maybe differently that we haven't been doing?
Those are definitely great points. And I couldn't even imagine if AI was so popular during the COVID pandemic, what would have happened with that. But looking forward, one of my main values is data-based information and having evidence, which is why I feel like my background in peer-reviewed research as a medical writer and actually publishing studies based on data is going to help me in my future career because my approach to cutting through all of that AI and sort of debate on fake news, what's real, what's not, is using the data and the published peer review studies to support any information I would be sharing.
Right. I mean, and you're affiliated now with Harvard University, certainly a very prestigious institution. It's not like you're talking from your pillow. It's data that is credible and verifiable, and you reference, and it's in a good spot. That is really good. So, how did you find out about the scholarship?
When I knew I wanted to go into a career in journalism beyond my undergraduate studies and my role as a reporter on Teen Kids News, I had started Googling journalism scholarships, and my Greek heritage is so important to me. So I kind of like when I was Googling, I just threw in the word Greek journalism scholarship in there.
No kidding.
And it all came together, and this scholarship came up, and I was like, wow, this is so interesting because it matches all of my values. And sometimes, things like that happen where it's meant to be.
Yeah, that's really wonderful. Are there any people that right now in the broadcast world that you enjoy reading or you think that they're in your field of medicine maybe and journalism? Anyone that you're following?
I definitely like to read the ABC News medical unit. Dr. Jennifer Ashton is so inspiring as a female physician. Definitely someone I look up to, and I like to keep in touch of what all the reporters on the medical unit are reporting.
Yeah, interesting, very, very interesting. Well, it's so great that you're joining us, and we're here in this new technology for us to be able to conduct these interviews via Zoom simultaneously and be broadcasting over 1550 AM in the Boston area and streaming online at wntn.com. And I I'm wondering if who else might be listening out there and would have a question. Nancy, what would you have a question? This is such an interesting area of medicine and journalism.
All right. Well, it seems like the wide net of scholarship awards we have made over the last few years has been incredible. I keep thinking, well, this just can't possibly get any wider, and then it happens. We did have someone, I'm going to say it was probably at least a good 15 years ago, that was more specifically a science reporter. And she did go on to have, a really interesting career writing specifically about science news. But this is the first time we've ever had anybody, just the program. I mean, you almost like, is this a specifically new program, or did you write the criteria for your degree, or how is this? I mean, are others able to, access the same degree, or have you modeled this yourself?
So my undergraduate degree at NYU, I was in the School of Gallatin Individualized Studies, the Gallatin School of Individualized Studies. And in that school, you have the opportunity to make your own major. So everyone's going in for a BA in individualized studies. And at that point, you create a concentration. So through my concentration, I took the core biomedical classes. I took journalism and communication courses. And I even had the opportunity to design a few of my own classes and work with a professor mentor who would help me blend science, medicine, and journalism.
Well, Ava, thank you very much for joining us this morning. And congratulations on receiving the scholarship. And I hope to see you and meet you in person on November 1st, if not before.
Definitely looking forward to meeting you. Thank you for having me. It was a great conversation.
It was really great. Thank you.
Take care. See you on November 1st, if not before. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Ava Tsapatsaris. She's a graduate of New York University, and she's received the Peter Agris Memorial Journalism Scholarship. It's remarkable. Our next guest this morning, also a recipient of the Scholarship Award, is Zachary Balcoff. He's a senior at Michigan State University, majoring in journalism with a concentration in media design, and he minors in graphic design, animation, comic storytelling in media, and theater. Zachary has served as an intern on the Washington Post, managing editor of the State News, and president of MSU's Society for News Design, SND. He is also a social media assistant for MSU's School of Journalism, a member of Vim Magazine's art team, and the social chair of Gamma Epsilon Tau, MSU's first art and design fraternity. Involved in journalism since 7th grade, he has won more than 50 journalistic awards at the state and national level, including for SND's 46th creative competition. Zachary is the son of Brian and Maria Bedvolarakis Balcoff of Troy, Michigan. Kalimera, Zachary, good morning. How are you?
Morning, Kalimera. I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. It's so nice to be talking with you, and congratulations on winning this award.
Thank you.
I just am so impressed with your bio. That's really something. Now, can you tell us a little bit about what you wrote about in your essay? What are you bringing? What are you bringing with you from your heritage?
Yeah, so I think the essay, like applying to the scholarship, I actually found it. One of my friends was looking on a scholarship board, and then she saw that it was for like young Greeks in journalism, and was like, "This is just you have to apply. It's just perfect, like meets the description." So I thought it was a really good opportunity to find a way to reflect on both like my heritage and journalism in a way that I feel like I haven't done much before or in classes and things like that. So I think it showed me that a lot of the values from my faith, such as, you know, love for all and trying to be inclusive and really look at things with an open eye. I feel like that has helped me be a better journalist in terms of having those, values of like objectivity and accountability and things like that. So I realized that, yeah, I think a lot of the traits that have caused me to be more successful within journalism have come from like my background in the Greek Orthodox Church and just, having that compassion and openness within the church. I went to St. Nicholas Greek Orthodox Church up until like 12th grade Sunday school, and then I um, helped my mom with Sunday school classes. Right now, I'm in DC because I got an extension from the internship at the Washington Post. So I actually graduated early, so I'm working here now until the end of December for now. But I haven't found a Greek Orthodox church here yet. But I know there are a few, so I need to
Yeah.
pop into one soon.
There's some good ones out your way. But that's wonderful. Now, the Washington Post, wow, that's quite an internship. And so, what have you been doing there?
Yeah, so I was like, yeah, I was fully not expecting to necessarily get it when I applied, but at the Society for News Design, which I joined the MSU chapter of it and then became the president of that, we got the opportunity to attend their creative competition in person, which has been in Minneapolis the last 2 years. And there you're helping volunteer and help judges that are curating and judging like national and international entries from bigger publications. So there I was able to meet a lot of designers from the Washington Post, including the like director who would then interview me once I applied. So it was a great way to make that connection. And then through us just already having communicated a little bit and knowing each other, I was able to get the position. And then, yeah, since I've been here, I've worked on the design team here. You get to work on both print and digital. So I've made like interactive digital projects. I've made print layouts, um, like double truck pages, single pages, worked on a lot of the special sections. We also do social media design. So I've been able to make like social cards and carousels. But yeah, the design team does like a lot of different work, so it's nice because I feel like I'm can't really get bored, especially with the news that's we've had this summer and the past few months. It's not been a
Um,
slow news time at all. So.
do you see comics and animation somehow giving us some light of that, or how do you plan to use that in perhaps to communicate serious issues? I happen to be a big fan of South Park because I think you have a laugh, but then you step back and think, wow, we're really laughing at this situation that's part of our world. And
Yeah.
it's at the same time tragic.
Yeah, no, I think there's definitely that's like something that I've um tried to become very aware of is like how can, especially with like illustration, because that we also do that. Yeah, illustration and animation. How can you understand which styles may lend more towards like a fun or a lighthearted piece versus one that's a more serious tone? Even at the state news, there were times where it was when I was managing editor, we were making a piece about like crime on campus, and then someone created like an illustration that was just like a cartoony like police officer with like a bag, and we were like, maybe that's not the correct tone for this specific piece. So I think illustration can definitely lend to serious topics. I think you just have to really be careful about the tone that you're creating, making sure that I think normally a lot more like cartoony expression and brighter colors will create more of a positive tone, which might not necessarily be what you're going for. But I think there's definitely ways you can be more careful and detailed in your illustrations, which can lend to a more serious topic. A lot of like dramatic black and white illustrations I know can go really well with those type of pieces. But yeah, no, I'm definitely a fan of the South Park humor. I don't know how much of that we can do at the Washington Post, but
No,
I definitely love when you can, yeah, have a laugh, but then also like have that be something that causes you to have a reflection on something that you otherwise might not have.
We were speaking earlier, and if you heard about the differences, how what the technology has done in the communications field, and now we're talking the design field. How are that? I'm very interested in how young people will say late high school, early college. How do they receive their news? How do they receive their information?
Yeah, I think especially within the even the like journalism bubbles that I'm within and like my friends that also majored in journalism, I think we're definitely at maybe like a level where we're looking at news a little bit more than the rest of the people our age. But even I feel like a lot of times the news that I get is unintentionally like just through social media. Like I'm not, opening a social media app to browse through the news, but since that's, where I spend a lot of my time just like checking on what my friends are doing, what's happening in pop culture, things like that, then I'll just get a news page or a blurb or something like that. And then that's when I'll go look up online and try to get like an actual article talking about those issues. But a lot of times that is just like since I feel like young generations are spending so much time in that particular technology, that's just where you're going to get a lot of things, which I think is why it's really important that news publications are still trying to make an effort to reach people on social media audiences. So at least if maybe they're the first thing someone sees on an issue, they can get it in a way that has been more vetted and is like in as objective of a way as you can say it, rather than maybe like just an influencer on social media who's just trying to have a viral video. So I think if I'm like searching for the news or like especially here, I've been, just looking over the homepage a lot, which is how I get a lot of like the headlines and read articles through there. But just unintentionally, I think I get a lot of it through just social media, through the nature of like, I feel like how the daily day works in this generation. But yeah.
Yeah, and in your school, were you discussing current issues when you went through high school? And I'm just curious because when we went through high school, we didn't talk about the Vietnam War or anything that was happening at that moment. We were talking about Washington and Lincoln, and but so we missed out on the current events. And I'm thinking now, if you're I know you're beyond high school, but really this is part of the group that receives information that you want to try to reach. Uh, do you discuss the current events? Do you discuss this tug of war in the media between what's real and what's not?
Um, I think we definitely discussed it in my college journalism classes. Like we talked a lot about TikTok, and one of my professors brought up this idea of like the news finds me effect, where a lot of people and younger generations, they just think whatever news they need to know will find them on
Right,
social
I've
media.
heard that.
Yeah. So, they're not picking up newspapers, they're not necessarily going to NewYorkTimes.com or WashingtonPost.com. But they're just like, well, I'm online so much, so anything I need to know, I'll see somewhere, which is not necessarily.
Yikes.
It is a yikes. It's a big yikes, especially when you put your trust into someone that's a social media influencer, and they're
Right.
not, they're not presenting sources for their information.
On whichever side of the argument we're talking about here, doesn't have to be, either side should not be, yeah,
So
one
then,
source.
I just hope that we're trying to sharpen or better our critical thinking in whatever we do and our compassion, as you mentioned. I like the fact that you said when you said, I asked you what does your heritage bring to the table for you? What are you going to bring forward? And you mentioned that. Then I get a sense of you wanting to give back to the community, and I applaud that. I don't, I listen very carefully to young people when I speak with them, and this morning so far, you have been talking about giving back. And Ava was the same sort of thing. She said, I really want to use this and communicate with people. And I think this is important. And it was a sense of wanting to give back. So I want to congratulate you on your field, which is very interesting. It's very, and that you were awarded this. Now, have you been to Boston before?
No, I haven't. I'm very excited because I did apply my freshman year. I applied for the Boston Globe. That was the first journalism internship that I had like done rounds of interviews for. Didn't end up getting it, but was really excited to head out to Boston in that regard. So I'm really excited that I get to go now. I'm bringing my parents. My mom's been like wanting to go to Salem during Halloween time her whole life. So we're going on the 31st, a day early, and we're
I've already warned him,
I know.
Meleti.
I
Already warned him.
dressed up.
Oh, gosh. I just,
Really, yeah.
yeah, jeez. Wow. Okay.
It'll be scary, I'll tell you.
Please do that
I have to report back.
yeah, how early in the week are you coming? I mean, when is she planning to go?
I think she wants to go on the 31st. So
Oh, that's so
That's the night before.
that's great.
Okay. All right. Well, it's something. It's an experience she will never forget and that you cannot replicate anywhere else in the United States, maybe even the world, I think. So there you go.
Are you gonna have a couple of days to see the town, or are you gonna be in and out?
I think I think we're gonna try to get there earlier the day on the 31st. So I will probably
do Salem.
Boston and see Salem, and then before the ceremony on the first, since we'll be there, we'll probably do a lot of sightseeing beforehand earlier in the day and like lunchtime. But yeah, no, I know you definitely can't.
Okay, dressed and ready at 4:30. I already told you.
Yeah. Oh, that's gonna be so.
Don't mess with the Greek mom and me, Zach.
So, I just wanted to ask Nancy, what is the schedule like now? We're going to break for the news and
We are, per your schedule, yes, we are. We're going to break for the news. And then John Konstantine is going to join us from Athens
wow, this is really, it's just
at
because,
10:15.
yeah.
A local boy, no less.
I know. Well, that's good.
Over Mass, yes.
Nice mix of guests this morning. Zachary,
Yes.
are there any more thoughts that you have on this whole experience about receiving this scholarship and where you see your next steps going?
Yeah, I just think that, being able to apply and interview for and get this scholarship has just been a way for me to, get back in touch with my faith and connecting it to my career in journalism, which I think has just been something that's caused me to reflect a lot in, as I said, like ways that I haven't necessarily done in my classes. So I think that's really exciting. And
Oh,
it's even just been great to, ask, as I was like filling out the essay a little bit, I was talking to my mom as well. We were talking about like old relatives, and I figured out I have some distant relatives in that area, currently in Boston, that I hadn't met before. So I think it's just been, it's been a fun way to reflect, and I'm really excited to, connect with more of the Greek American community in November.
excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was Zachary Balcoff, and he is a recipient of the Peter Agris Memorial Journalism Scholarship. Stay tuned for more of our special segment, continuing right after the news at the top of the hour. It's Mondays with Meleti, and your host, Meleti Pouliopoulos. And we're back with Nancy Agris Savage to discuss the Peter Agris Memorial Journalism Scholarship, and speaking with three of this year's recipients. And our next guest, are we ready for our next guest, Nancy, do you think? Yeah.
I see we have John with us.
I see John's online. Okay. Our next guest is John Konstantine Chronopoulos. He is a junior at Northeastern University, majoring in journalism with minors in psychology, international affairs, and history. He has served as the culture editor for The Avenue magazine, Northeastern's premier fashion and culture publication, and spent a semester in France at the American University of Paris. John is currently in Athens, Greece, interning at Dovima International Edition as a writer and editorial assistant, and hopes to pursue a career in magazine or long form feature writing, exploring various facets of culture and their interactions. John is the son of Konstantinos and Eleni Chronopoulos of Boston, Massachusetts. Kalimera, John. Hello.
Kalimera, τι κάνετε?
Kala, it's so nice to have you here. And you are in fact in Athens now?
Yes, I am.
How did that happen?
It was brought to me through Northeastern's co-op program. This was the second time they're doing it ever, and I applied, sent some writing samples, and now I'm here.
I mean, did you have this in mind? Like, gee, I really wish I could go there and do this. I mean, it's
I
just
mean,
unbelievable.
I mean, it's always been a dream to spend a long time in Athens. I debated doing like a study abroad program, but when I found out that there was a co-op at a newspaper in Athens, I felt like it was made for me. So
Are you contributing in Greek or in English or?
English. It's the international edition. So it's in the print edition is in the pages of the Greek Dovima every Sunday.
Oh, okay, excellent. And it's available online as well, I would
Yes.
assume, right? And so years ago, there was an English newspaper in Athens called the Athens News. Are you familiar with that? Is that still around? No. Oh no, that's terrible. Well, so tell us now in your journey, how did you hear about the scholarship?
Yeah, so I actually heard about it through my aunt, my tia Martina. Her granddaughter, my cousin Natalie, got it a couple years ago.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
and I didn't know that I was going to be a journalism major going into college. And then I switched my major and it was just a good opportunity. It was, yeah,
Excellent.
I lined up.
Excellent.
I'm very grateful.
You've been spending a lot of time in fashion and culture, and
Mhm.
that's very, very, very interesting. Is this part of your work now at Tovima International?
So when I actually submitted my application, I included that I like those interests, and they were looking to expand their lifestyle section and their culture section. So pretty much they're looking for more content like that, which is very nice.
That's really great.
Very
And so,
fulfilling for me. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, where are you right inside of Athens? I used to work there myself.
Yeah. I'm staying in Kukaki, but I'm working in Kalithea. So
Oh, that's so great. Two
yeah,
great neighborhoods. That's really something. And so is it just when will you come back? When will you return?
mid-December is when I'm done.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah.
That's excellent. And where do you see yourself going from there?
I have thought about, I mean, I want to do another co-op as before I finish school, potentially at the Globe. We'll see. Throwing that out there into the universe. But after college, I hope more magazine writing in my future, more long form kind of stuff.
I'm
Yeah.
curious because every time I think of magazines, I think of, things that we get at home, those printed things. But magazines can now be just online, right? We can still
Yeah.
just call it a magazine. It's kind of packaged that way, which is
Mm-hmm.
nice.
I think,
Yeah.
yeah, I think journalism is always changing, but I've noticed in recent years, a lot of my peers, at least in like the journalism and English and writing departments, um, print media is kind of making its way back in popularity. People like to hold what they're reading. So hopefully in the near future, print magazines will make a boost, but I think online is great too.
Yeah, it is. I really would love to speak with you afterward. I think we're connected in email now, but
Yeah.
there's some talk about Nancy was can I let the cat out of the bag a little bit, Nancy? I think John would be really interesting. Our topic at the table with Tina on Friday night about pulling together an exhibit of Greek American artists over the year. This is something that hasn't been done in a long time, and it's a field of study that's very, very rich. Yeah, and a lot of families are sitting on artwork of artists. It's just going to be really fun. So,
interesting candidate for our, yes, absolutely.
Nancy's like, oh no, another project.
I know.
We get ourselves in these things.
I know. Yeah, so we can't close with John without saying who his aunt is, because it's not just Thea Martina. It's Martina Saihojas.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, my favorite, the nicest
No,
people.
I'm not kidding. Come on, I'm rarely speechless. It is very hard for me to describe Martina to anyone who does not know her.
Yeah.
I had to laugh. Leaving church at St. Demetrius yesterday, she comes out and well deserving in her chronological years of a handicap spot right outside the church. No. Still driving herself and, and right across into the normal parking, no bus doing, no nothing, no, just she, now I to Martina, but she's just an amazing. So as many people in this area know, she taught Greek school for years. She, wrote the first and most widely publicized lexicon back in the Hellenic Chronicle days. She had the first, you hear Duolingo now and Babbel and all this other stuff. She was doing Greek lessons on cassette tapes and selling them nationwide. I mean, it was like groundbreaking stuff in our community. She's an icon, a legend. I mean, been so supportive of, she was close with my parents, close with me, very, very supportive of the scholarship program. So yeah, she was hilarious. She was like a dog with a bone. She grabbed me after church. Nancy, and I said, well, okay, Martina, but it's not just me sitting at my kitchen table writing out checks for $5,000. I said he has to go through the process, submit the application, and be reviewed by, by 8 people all together and be vetted and go through the process. So, and he let me just say, killed the interview, as they all did. I mean, come on, every one of them is like, you and I've said before, we look back to where we were in our junior year of college. I'm not sure I want to discuss that.
I was so sheltered in the world.
Oh my God. These kids are like, all over the place. So yeah, let's say I bloomed a few years later. At least I don't know. I'm still waiting to bloom, maybe somebody would say, but anyway. But no, John is great, and we're so proud to have him in the ranks. And we do have some folks who went on to magazine, both print and online. So that's the other part of this. It's not just $5,000. It's not just a weekend in Boston, although with John, it's he's from here, but he gets to come home for the weekend. But it's more importantly the only network of Greek American media professionals in the country, and they give back. Believe me, they give back.
Let's talk about that with John. John, I know that you were asked this in your essay, and normally I ask Nancy if she can share the essays with me, but This time I didn't ask. I figure we didn't rehearse our stuff today. So, but I do want to ask you, what do you feel from your upbringing, your heritage, that's carried with you today and you're going to carry forward in your work? What was important?
I think definitely, at least from the Greek American upbringing and seeing my community in Rosendale, just the resilience that they've always portrayed. Like my parents tell me about, I think St. Nectarios burned down at one point and they rebuilt it. And my grandparents were part of that. And
Really?
just seeing that or hearing about that um, always amazes me. And I think Greeks always know how to pick themselves up by their bootstraps and just work hard and not give up. And um, yeah, I think in my essay I touched on a little different topic about like the dynamism of Greek culture and how it changes over centuries and how journalism is always changing and kind of just being able to adapt. So yeah, I think being resilient and adaptable is something that,
Those are good things. It's the Greek spirit. It's what's
yeah.
made us successful here, and we've overcome so much.
But I also want to say like things like the Peter Agris Scholarship and the Alpha Omega Society and Grecian Echoes, like these are Boston Greek projects and organizations, and they're inspiring to me that like they pass on a legacy of Greek heritage through the generations that I'm just inspired and in awe
Well,
by longevity.
this is what we're trying to keep going because we see this as the glue within our community. I always said to Nancy, that newspaper was the glue. And we don't want to be unglued, because we get so much done as a community, whether it's building a church or saving a church or a school or whatever it is, we can do more and also help each other individually. And my mind went as soon as I heard your interest. I'm thinking, and with the other guests this morning as well, my mind's working. How can I help them? What can I do? And so I think we do find those ways. At least some of us do it in the Greek community. So did you get to go to any festivals this year? Any picnics, or you were in Greece the whole summer? Or?
Not the whole summer. I came in the middle of August. So it's always been my dad's, shout out to my dad, by the way. He's probably listening.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
he's a very big fan, longtime listener. Um, he his dream has always been to spend the 15th of August in his village of Vitina and Nivasia. So
Tina, did you say?
yeah, his monastery.
Oh, what a beautiful village.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. Um, So we went to Panigiri for the 15th in Nivasia, where my grandfather's from. Um, did a lot of dancing, did a lot of eating. Um, yeah, that
I have
was,
a beautiful book to share with you that was done of folk traditions from Vitina,
oh
from
wow.
someone who went and recorded, did field recordings before electricity. And we have Mrs. Scully. He's passed away now, and he took his pictures and his recordings, and he put together a book. Um, I'm not sure if it's in English. It's definitely in Greek, and it's great. And when you come, I want to see it. It was published by the Academy of Athens, and I
Oh
think you'd
wow.
really enjoy it. It's to listen to those folk songs really hits home. I think
If my dad is listening right now, he is going to lose his mind.
you really love it. Yeah, it's great.
That's crazy. Oh my God, I would love to hear and see. That's
Well,
amazing.
I hope I get a chance to meet you in person. I mean, we're actually here in our own backyard. I'm broadcasting from Needham, Massachusetts today. We are zooming, so we have better audio quality. You're in Athens. Nancy is nearby, always nearby.
Nearby. First
John,
time we've ever done it this way, though. Usually I'm making the trek to the studio.
yeah,
So
it sounds better. It's a little bit, but I wanted to ask John something that I think I asked each of our guests this morning, and that's how people your age are receiving news. How do you see that? How are people getting information, and even more importantly, discerning what is real from what's not real, or what's credible from not credible? Where do you
Right.
see that? Does that play in your experience?
I think the circles that I run in are not representative of my entire generation, just because a lot of my friends are journalism majors and English majors. So the news is kind of a constant thing for us. But I think from those groups, I would say a big theme is diversifying which platforms you're getting your news from, your information from. Just because journalism is always written by, an article is written by one person, so you can't necessarily get a full picture of an idea from one mind. It's helpful to read like 2, 3, 4 different articles on the same subject because there might be something that was missing, something that somebody might have accidentally left out. So that's kind of what I'm hearing from like a lot of my friends who are trying to consume the news. They're just making it a little bit more of a longer process by going to different sources.
Yes, that's good.
putting the
That's
time in, right?
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
News is not, and becoming educated and informed is not a quick hit thing. Sometimes all we can do is a headline because we're in a rush. Then before you start speaking on whatever that is or making a decision based on whatever that is, go and follow it up with some research, right? Hopefully, we don't, you know, get a doctor that way or hire somebody to work on your house just by, oh, John Smith is great, right? You follow it up. Well, we should be doing that with our news as well.
There's an old funny saying one way. I remember one time interviewing this fellow who had passed away, and I said, "Well, that's very interesting, Sam. Um, who said that?" He said, "Echotoipa." I'm the one who said it. Oh, okay. Well, gee,
Oh, that's so
right.
Greek.
It's so Greek,
So
right?
Greek.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
What
love
do you mean? And period. End of story.
it.
Oh, that's great.
It's really wonderful. Well, John, congratulations. I hope we have a chance to meet on November 1st, and that would be really wonderful.
yeah. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor, and thank you to both of you.
Thank you, John.
Stay
Ladies,
well, John. We'll be in touch soon.
ladies and gentlemen, that was John Konstantine Chronopoulos. He's a junior at Northeastern University, majoring in journalism with minors in psychology, international affairs, and history. He was just speaking with us. He's currently in Athens, Greece. And Nancy, I have to thank you for bringing these wonderful guests on this morning. This was so nice and so uplifting for me because I, to hear from young people in their own words about, what their background, what their heritage has done for them, where they're hoping, how they're consuming news, and what they're hoping to do in their next steps.
Well, it is. Thank you for offering me the vehicle this morning to let these kids shine even more than they do on their own. But most importantly, and if you'll allow me, you can give me the high sign when I need to stop. But I do really want to again go back to the most important thing, which is this would not happen without Alpha Omega. Alpha Omega is the umbrella under which I and Peter Lemonius and the other committee members are able to do this year after year after year. To raise the money, to disperse the money, to bring these young people and highlight their careers. And I can't say enough, you know, in all the years they've been doing these galas, we've never had a bum evening. We've never had one that was not great. But this year, first of all, we've got, you know, the dream team in terms of chairing it.
Who's who? Billy Galetis and
Billy Galetis and Nick Ypsilantis. Okay, we don't even need to say anything first.
That's it.
First of all, everybody knows both of these guys. Everybody knows when they're at the helm, you know, it's already in the books. You already know it's going to be a great, great evening. And then we've got a fantastic president, Harry Vlachos. So, you know, it's really the dream team. There's a great committee, and they're doing a little something different this year, which kind of dovetails with the bench warmers a little bit.
Right.
But on November 1st, yes, we're going to start off with the scholarships, and we're going to have all 6 kids there, and it's going to be great. But the whole evening is going to be incredible. It's at the Intercontinental, of just a beautiful, beautiful venue. And the honorees this year, based on it being the 70th anniversary of the passing of one of the great Greek Americans, Harry Agris. And, you know, 70 years, what a contribution, what a legacy he has made. And so the committee decided to go with a little bit of a sports theme, something a little different than we've ever done before, a real tribute to Harry. And so the whole evening is going to be, the Lifetime Achievement Award is going to his nephew, Mike Agris, huge member of our community here locally, who has done so much to promote this community, promote Harry's legacy, a successful businessman. The community owes him a lot, and really a stalwart. And then the Phil Helene Award, which I so love that we're starting to think just beyond our own community. And we're honoring, so exciting, the Boston Red Sox, who have, you know, been supported Alpha Omega with Greek Heritage Night every year. They open the park to us. They, you know, so many of the mainstays of our community have been honored, throwing out the first pitch and going down on the field. That's a great connection. And then really exciting, more recent add-on of an Emerging Leader Award. We've had some really exciting young people. We're bringing in from New York. She's originally a New Jersey girl, but Erica Contos. She is, talk about trailblazing. She was Forbes 30 under 30 in the sports world this year. Okay, that's not Greeks. That's 30 under 30 in the United States in the sports world. She's you know, senior director at the NBA, the WBA. She goes internationally and, you know, schedules and makes all the media connections, and just an incredible, incredible, humble young woman. And we're so excited to have her with us. And last, certainly not least, Trustees Award, the BAA. Running the Boston, you know, has managed the Boston Marathon for years. partners with Alpha Omega every year in the Boston, the marathon wreath ceremony, bringing wreaths directly from Marathon Greece to award the winners. Such a deserving organization. I can't say enough. It's going to be an incredible evening. So, folks, the summer's over, sadly. Time to buy the tickets. Time to, and they're going fast, believe me. We've already, we're already coming close to filling the ranks. So
that's good.
Get
Well,
your
that's good.
butt together, and you definitely want to be a part of this evening. There's going to be so much going on. And I'm sure a few surprises, because that's Bill and Nick. You got to get expensive. Get expensive. The fun stuff, not the dry speeches, the fun stuff, because they're both showmen. So it's going to be great.
It'll be done really well. Saturday, November 1st is the evening at
Yes.
the Intercontinental Boston Hotel. And it's so great that you'll have your ceremony first with the scholarships, and then they'll stay on. Those people will stay, right?
They'll be with us for the whole dinner.
They're honored there.
Yeah, and then they're going to join the ranks of this, 160 plus media and communications people of Greek descent, and hopefully, continue on to terrific careers and give back to Alpha Omega and the community and everything else.
So fantastic.
Yeah.
Nancy, thank you so much for this. And
thank you, Meleti.
I hope I see you soon.
Absolutely, you will. Thanks again. And I don't know. I know I'm out of time, but I do want to just say, on a personal note, if you don't mind, I'm going to take advantage of our friendship, but I want to just, so many of us in this community are still struggling with the untimely passing of Nick Mitropoulos. And I just want everybody to keep his family in their thoughts and prayers, and just always reflect on everything this man gave to this community. Many of you don't even know, because, like I like to say, he was the stealth. He was behind the scenes doing so much, and we are going to deeply, deeply miss his presence. And yeah.
It just shows you that life is so fragile.
It is. So stay connected, get rid of grudges, tell everybody you love how much you love them. And thanks again for keeping us all connected.
Thank you, Nancy, and thank you for bringing Nick up. I still feel very bad, but Nick was one of the ones that helped me out. Yeah. And in a day that money and position oftentimes opens up doors, Nick pushed all that aside and said, "Your ideas are opening up doors." And
you bet.
So God love him. And,
absolutely. I gotta say, God must have had one heck of a big project he needed. Nick.
Exactly.
I just really, that's
strategy,
the way
right?
I choose to look at it, because that's just got to be. And what a tribute at his funeral. His kumbaro and good friend, and my good friend as well, George Stephanopoulos, flew in. Senator Markey, Mayor Wu, Governor Dukakis, of course, who he served for 3 terms, and when he was governor, and it was just an incredible Maria Stefanos, who, by the way, yikes, I'm sorry, one more shameless plug. Maria is going to be our MC on November 1st.
On November 1st. It's going to be a great night.
Our local treasure here, as if she has not given enough to this community, enough to Alpha Omega, our former Lifetime Achievement Award honoree, and she has agreed to come and do us the honor. So just a phenomenal journalist, phenomenal Greek American, and so yeah.
Very
And
nice.
with that, I will stop.
Oh, well, thank you, Nancy. That was really great. And we want to try to get more information on each of the recipients as we get closer to the time. We hope we see everyone there. Meanwhile, thank you again for this wonderful segment. Well, you and I should do a radio show, a regular radio show, don't you think?
Oh, I don't know. You gonna get a chance to say anything?
What's that?
Are you gonna get a chance to say anything if we have a regular radio show?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Anyway, thank you again, my friend. You and Teddy, like I said, keep us all connected, and I don't know where we'd be without you.
That's a good luck, Nancy. We'll see you
You
soon.
too.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.